I'm telling you now, there is no way you're capable of watching the entire video. Welcome back. I have spent the last 24 hours exploring the darkest side of the internet, and I've gathered many disturbing videos for us to watch tonight. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember a story I told you about a little girl named John Bonnet Ramsey? She's a little blonde girl that was like a beauty pageant girl, and she ended up going missing.
Yes.
Why did people just find out? There was a picture that was posted from the Epstein files. There's a picture of Epstein on his wall, and it's like from an angle.
No
and people
way,
at first
it's
like,
her.
who is that person? Nigga, they see the picture. Somebody goes and like reverts it or whatever. It's John Bonnet Ramsey sitting on Epstein's like shoulders.
Whoa.
And he has it framed in his fucking apartment. And mind you, I heard that he had something to do with like the beauty pageant that she was a part of. It was some weird thing, bro. And I just heard about this. I swear to God, he's connected to the disappearance of that little girl.
Shit, it's crazy. Even Trump was like involved with a lot of pageants back
things
in the
like
day
that.
and stuff like that. And
See,
it's like
so-
Charlie Kirk's wife won.
Was in his pageants.
Yeah, won one of the pageants and stuff like that.
And then you can hear a lot of the weird stuff that's coming out after with her as well. That's a whole nother fucking conversation.
That's
so
what I'm saying, bro.
when
This
there's
shit,
too many coincidences
yeah.
that start lining up, my nigga, what is that?
It gets crazy. It gets so weird, and it's like a lot of people are like, "Nah, man, that's just none of that shit's real."
You know?
And it's like I think that's the reason why they're gonna get away with a lot of shit like that.
Yeah.
Like we're never gonna see or hear about what really happens on that island.
Probably not.
Like 100% confirmed.
Yeah.
Without having something overshadow it.
People are now using AI to commit DoorDash fraud. I didn't even know this was a thing, but check this out. So this person ordered a hamburger from DoorDash and then used ChatGPT's image generator to make it look like it was undercooked. Apparently this guy got a full refund, and the scariest part is that it's only getting easier for people to use AI like this.
You won't believe who appears to have visited Epstein Island. Elon Musk, and I have the receipts. Here's an email from 2012 when Jeffrey Epstein says, "How many people will you be for the heli to the island?" And Elon Musk responds, "Probably just Tallulah and me." Then in 2013, Epstein's assistant Leslie Groff emails Epstein and Elon Musk saying, "Just a reminder, Elon Musk was asking about coming to your island on January 2nd. Here's a notice to organize for Elon's arrival." According to these emails, it appears as though Elon probably went to the island at least twice. What was he doing there?
Okay, so you may want to return your Minions DVD and make your children unwatch it after you see the stuff you didn't see when you first watched it. If you have, the innuendo in this movie or series, whatever it is shocking, man. Keep in mind it's for kids. You should have seen what their hands were just doing. You got to rewind. Kissing, kissing, kissing. All about kissing. And this is for, very young children, by the way. I mean, it's just kind of... And I'm not talking anything about... I don't know exactly if these minions... what their identity is kind of thing. But it's just a lot of lovey-dovey stuff. And not, like, anciently romantic either. More like, just watch. And this one is... Look at this. What's that showing you? I mean, when you boil it down, I mean, how else do you look at this? It really is hiding in plain sight. And it's called informed consent, by the way. They're informing you through movies, media, production, etc. And you're consenting to it by not rejecting it. And they say that Manly P. Hall said, when people can see through signs and symbols, a veil will be lifted, a great veil will be lifted from the eyes of humanity. We're going to talk more about shocking things in movies. Follow for more and comment for part 2.
That's kind of weird though, don't you guys think? For that to be in like a movie, the director thought it out, he put it on the script, and then said, you know what, let's put this in the movie. It's kind of weird. I don't know, I think that was like a little detail that didn't really have to be put in there. Those were a lot of weird things being done in a kid's movie. I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Kind of weird.
The real reason they say that copper is toxic is the same reason why we used to use copper cups in hospitals to heal people. Because copper is extremely electrically conductive, and the human body is electric. We have an electromagnetic field that extends outside of our body. And not only that, copper is an essential mineral most people are deficient in. So when people were drinking out of copper, it was healing them much faster. And obviously today we know that they don't want us to heal naturally because they make profit off of selling us artificial medication. Lied to about basically everything. So if you want to learn the truth, then follow from.
What would you do if you came face to face with someone you love and instantly knew it wasn't really them? This true story comes from Marquis, who is volunteering at Rhodey Center for the Arts in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which has a reputation for being haunted. One night, he goes down to the basement to grab a prop. When he turns to leave, there's a shadow figure standing in the doorway, blocking his exit. He eventually gets out, tells his friends what happened, and one of them jokes, "What would you do if it followed you home?" Marquis laughs and says, "I wish it would." When Marquis gets home, something immediately feels off. His fiancée Julian is home from work early. They're talking while Marky goes into the bathroom. They're still having a normal conversation until Julian's voice starts to sound muffled. When Marky opens the bathroom door, Julian is standing right there, but something isn't right. Julian has brown eyes, and this version of him has gold eyes. And while Marky is staring at him, he hears the front door open. The real Julian just got home from work. Marquis screams when he realizes what had just happened, and the gold-eyed version of Julian just disappears.
The lead singer of this band was literally SAing a bunch of babies and children and made some of the mothers join.
What?
So, bro, the lead singer was this dude named Ian Watkins of this band called The Lost Prophets. They had a core audience, bro, like a cult following of people that just loved their music, would go to their shows and things like that. And this guy, Ian Watkins, he was using his fans' love to basically do this weird shit.
Yeah.
So he would go to his shows. After the show, he would look in the audience for women that were basically mothers. Like he would try to see if they brought like maybe their daughter, or he would ask women as well after shows and things like that. Do you have kids? These people were so brainwashed that they didn't really see anything wrong. Some of these women, to the point where they started to provide their children to this guy. They would give him their kids. He would go to a hotel, SA these children on webcam for people to see online as a famous band member. And I think he would not show his face, but he would show himself having intercourse with a child.
What the hell?
And he would record it for people to see online. Sometimes in these videos, he would get the mothers to abuse the child as well, as they're both doing it.
What?
Basically, like all three of them doing stuff.
Yeah.
Some of these mothers, a good amount of them, would actually involve themselves and agree.
What the
So this guy had these women doing the craziest stuff.
Yeah, that's insane.
Nobody really knew it was him until I think it was somebody online that saw the video that was a normal fucking person. They got the video to the attention of the police. They saw some of the tattoos. They put two and two together. When the cops go to this dude's place, they caught this dude with 27 terabytes.
Damn.
Of child, you know what.
And this is in the early 2000s.
And this was in the early 2000s.
Oh my God. How the fuck do you even have all that shit?
I'm telling you, bro. He had so much. So he even tells them that the youngest victim was 11 months old.
That's insane.
This crypto billionaire exposes a trafficking ring in Puerto Rico led by the CIA and Mossad, then dies shortly after his post. But the most concerning part is he predicted his own death after exposing it. The day of his death, he writes on X, CIA and Mossad and pedo elite are running some kind of sex trafficking entrapment blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and Caribbean islands. They are going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-GF, who was a spy. They will torture me to death. Hours later, he was reported dead in Puerto Rico by supposedly drowning. To this day, they have never investigated it again.
So apparently the lettuce was in the files, and they were talking about how people who use the lettuce are harder to manipulate because they question things more readily than someone who's consuming alcohol, and that's why alcohol is promoted and the lettuce is demonized. I just made a video saying it with the right words, and you could say alcohol all you want on here, no problem, but if I even try to say it.
This wasn't a horror movie scene. This was an actual police body cam footage.
This is a police department. This stops here. Who's in charge?
So basically, guys, in November 2024, in the University of Iowa, police has been called to this campus because of fire alarms. So like the police officers and like the firefighters went there thinking that it's just a normal fire alarm routine. But when they entered the basement, they saw this.
What the f did I just walk into? Celebration. You know what I mean? Celebration or what? Of life. Okay, sweet.
56 young men just standing in the dark, blindfolded, shirtless, and like not talking back to them. I'm not gonna lie, bro, if I was a police officer that saw this, I would quit on the spot. Cause like this is straight up from a horror movie. But the reason they were doing this is cause this is part of their hazing ritual. I'm not gonna lie, I've never been to college, never been to a frat, you know what I'm saying? So like, I really don't understand that. But like, if you gotta do that to like answer, like, bro, what the hell? And if you guys thought things were not gonna get weirder, police officer interviewed this one student, and as he was giving him like his ID and stuff, he was like, yeah, this is fake.
It's fake. Huh? It's fake. You think it's fake? You think it's fake or you know it's fake?
Why did bro self-sabotage? This is like a movie, bro. This is like a movie scene. I ain't gonna lie.
In the Jeffrey Epstein files, they have a new code word. So we know the pizza is for, we know that. But one that was in the files a lot was jerky.
I didn't know about this one.
Jerky is, or meat.
Really?
Yeah, because in a bunch of emails, it's like, can I try your jerky? You need to help the jerky walk to this. Why would jerky need to walk? Beef jerky, delicious. Thank you. There's one bag of beef jerky in the fridge at 71st. Please get it. And also, blank has more at his place. I suppose it needs to be consoled in an insulated bag. And it was one where it's like, I'm teaching a cooking class about beef jerky or something like that. And I'm like, yo, why is beef jerky so repetitive?
There's another one. I think it's grape soda.
Yeah.
You heard that one?
Grape soda, I have heard a bit of it.
So I think that
What is that
one's supposed to mean like someone you want to spell it out. Yeah.
Tomorrow, I'll show you how to make it. Jerky class. He's working at a restaurant called Cannibal Jerky and Steak.
Damn.
Yeah. So you know what they're doing.
Ever wonder what bologna really is? That perfectly smooth slice. No fibers, no texture, just one uniform piece of meat. It's not one cut of meat, it's everything left over, ground down, blended together until you can't tell what it used to be. Organs, trimmings, scraps, all mixed into one paste. Processed so fine, it becomes something else entirely. You don't care though, right? Then they add salt, flavoring, and preservatives to keep it looking fresh, even when it's been sitting forever. And then it gets pumped into casings, shaped into that perfect circle, cooked, cooled, sliced thin so you never question it. No bones, no texture, nothing that reminds you this came from something living. Just a smooth, pink illusion. And somehow, you've been eating it your whole life, slice after slice, without ever asking why.
You're all ready. This appears to be Jeffrey Epstein in a restricted area in a U.S. Department of Homeland Security facility. So I've sent this photo to people that I know, and I put this photo through AI, and I've asked all these different people what this looks like and what this means. And every single person has told me that it appears that Epstein is in some sort of a restricted area within that facility. But that begs the question for me. Why? Who is this woman in the image with them? I've never seen this woman before. Why is Epstein standing like that and smiling? And what kind of a building are they in? I mean, this is a U.S. Department of Homeland Security building. And as you can see, no visitors beyond this point. It looks like Epstein is in some sort of a restricted area. Which restricted area? I don't know. What building is he in? I don't know. I've never really, I guess, seen a U.S. Department of Homeland Security building in my life. So I don't know what my reference is here, because I don't know what these buildings typically are, or what they really function as. Are they just big offices or what? And why is Epstein there with this woman? I mean, it makes no sense unless you consider the angle that Epstein was in bed with not only intelligence, but various government agencies. And then it starts to make a little more sense.
The lawyer of Jeffrey Epstein's best friend told him to stop talking or else.
It was just regularly done.
Okay. So if you've ever seen Steiny of the Nelk Boys, you've probably wondered, how the hell did this kid get famous? And the answer probably has something to do with his father, Harvey Steinberg, who is an extremely wealthy and well-connected lawyer. In the 2000s, he defended Israeli businessman Asher Carney, who was accused of smuggling nuclear triggers into Pakistan. And these connections to Israel could explain how Steiny was able to get Benjamin Netanyahu on his show, where he gave him a softball interview to try and humanize him. Not only that, but Harvey Steinberg has also defended many famous celebrities, such as the NFL athletes Brandon Marshall and Travis Henry. So if you're wondering why this kid continues to fail upwards, even though his personality is almost universally disliked, it is likely because of his father's connections. It's much easier to make it in the entertainment industry or podcasting when you have daddy's money to fall back on, or when your daddy has a bunch of rich friends who he can get on your show. And this would also explain why Steiny was such a coward in that interview with Netanyahu and refused to ask him tough questions, because his father has been defending the crimes of the Israeli government for years now. So yeah, when I learned this, it all made sense to me. It's one big club and you're not in it, but a bunch of real losers are.
We finally got the first arrest in connection to the Epstein files. Former Prince Andrew was recently arrested, and out of all days, he was arrested on his birthday. Even crazier, he's the first British royal to be arrested in nearly 400 years, with King Charles being executed. So despite all the photos going viral and the allegations that come with them, Andrew was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Apparently, this was due to sharing confidential government and trade information with Epstein, not the child stuff. The former prince was held in custody for 11 hours, but was then released released, with this photo going viral, looking like he either saw some horrific things or was possessed. But he wasn't let off the hook. Police went back to his old home and are still searching it. And to top it off, his brother, King Charles III, literally said the law must take its course, essentially saying his brother is royally.
So this guy confessed that he to ChatGPT. I killed someone. In the video, he was like, can I tell you anything?
I did something really bad. I'm scared to tell you.
And then ChatGPT is like,
share when you feel comfortable.
and then he got mad. I don't believe you.
That's not true.
Fuck you! And then he's just having this whole like breakdown, and then he said, I'm someone.
I killed someone.
ChatGPT is giving the most PR answer. It's like,
important to talk to someone who can provide the right support. Please reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or mental health professional.
and then the video just cuts off.
Alright, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. I know some people don't like AI at all. Some people are all about AI. But what do you guys seriously think? So if a guy admits to doing said things, as said in this video, do you think it can get to a point where the AI takes down all this information and like, you know, reveals it to the authorities? Or does it just stay silent and not say anything? Because if they're admitting to doing such bad things, are they just gonna not do anything about it? I don't know. What do you guys think? Please let me know.
In 1999, the Blair Witch Project convinced people that it was real. Of course, it was super unsettling. No music, no jump scares, just a camera and something hiding in the woods, something that we couldn't see. The film follows 3 students who go into the woods to film a document on the famous urban legend of the Blair Witch, and they have no idea what they're getting themselves into. Once they're in the woods, they get the feeling that something is watching them and something is completely wrong. The paths seem to be a loop and the landmarks completely disappear. They also wake up hearing children laughing in the middle of the night. At night you hear footsteps screaming and something calling their name, but the scariest part is that the witch is nowhere to be seen. The fear comes from not knowing what exactly is watching them. They're just there, lost, afraid, with no answers. And once the movie ends, it doesn't leave you with answers. It leaves you with more questions and silence and wondering what happened to the students. This movie is another reason why I'll never ever go camping.
Have you ever watched the ghost cams at the Willard Public Library? Supposedly the building is so haunted that they've set ghost cameras up to catch paranormal activity, and you can find it all streaming live on their website. This is something that has just recently been brought to my attention by the creator that I've tagged in my description, so of course, when I heard about this, I had to go see it for myself. And it's true, they actually have ghost cams on at all times. On their website, they also give you a history of the known apparition that has been reported there the most, and they call her the Gray Lady. They've even had police summoned there because of a security alarm that was triggered, and according to these officers, one of them went inside to investigate and the other watched from the parking lot. Well, the officer that was in the parking lot said that he saw the ghost of a woman with a shadowy figure beside her through the window of the building. So when his colleague emerged, he asked if he had seen them, but they found no trace of anyone inside. Here's another story from the library assistant that's posted on their website. It says, shortly after being hired, a library assistant bravely addressed the Gray Lady while walking alone on the adult services floor. She politely asked not to be frightened and suggested the ghost communicate in gentler ways. Moments later, the elevator doors opened unexpectedly, the call light illuminated despite no one being inside. The assistant approached cautiously, finding the elevator empty. She believed this encounter was the Gray Lady's response, welcoming her to the staff. I guess when the bathrooms were remodeled, the toilets started flushing on their own, so they had to call plumbers in, but there was no cause found. There was also a new projector that was installed that would move up and down by itself, so they called technicians in to investigate, but they couldn't figure it out either. They have this picture of the library founder's daughter hanging above the copier machine, and some people think that she could be.
These are some of the most disgusting pictures I have ever seen, starting with this picture of former Prince Andrew. Wait till you see what they're playing with. Can you tell what that is? Before I even show you what that is, just look how disgusting former Prince Andrew looks. Look at this. I guarantee you still have not figured it out.
This video of a woman in Quebec is circulating on the internet, and people are claiming it's Ghislaine Maxwell. What do you think?
Do I know you? No, sorry.
No, it's delivered, yeah.
While it does look like Maxwell from years ago, if you compare it to a photo of her today, it probably isn't her. Most likely AI or a doppelganger. What do you think?
One of the craziest pictures I saw inside Jeffrey Epstein's place. There's no reason you should have this in your crib, but he does. A dentist office inside of that house. And not only that, around it and surrounding
What the fuck is that?
surrounding the walls are masks.
Oh my
So
gosh.
imagine you'll have doctors in there and then masks on. Why would you need a dentist office? At the dentist, what happens when you get your wisdom teeth taken out? You go under anesthesia.
Oh
You go under laughing gas. You get incapacitated so that you don't feel pain and you don't feel things. Why are there masks? To hide their identity, bro. The victim would be woozy. They get taken advantage of.
God.
So they're sent straight from that room into wherever else in that crib, bro.
If they do survive, yo, you can't describe it to the police because they're wearing a mask.
They're wearing masks, yeah.
Oh, I've seen some shit too where Jeffrey Epstein makes his rooms fully customizable and so weird. Also, that so you can't describe it to the police if you do get out. So it's like they'll put like a weird face here, or they'll put a certain like statue here. It's so weird in your brain that like, oh wait.
All right, let's stop for a quick second. If you're still watching, thank you, it means a lot. If you're not subscribed and you're still here, it means you're clearly interested. While we're here, do me a favor, please hit the like, comment, and subscribe. There's many more of these videos coming very, very often, so stay tuned. All right, that's enough talking. Let's get right into it.
United Nations just officially declared that Earth has now entered a water bankruptcy, and they're saying that it might be impossible to reverse. So the United Nations just dropped a report basically out of nowhere, and the terminology that they're using alone is insane. They're now saying that Earth has officially entered what they're calling a water bankruptcy, and for many parts of the world, they say that the damage is already done. Okay. They're basically saying to think of water like it's a bank account, because rain and snowmelt is your paycheck, and then groundwater and glaciers is your savings account. They say that we have now been spending way more than nature is able to put back, and now we're draining savings that actually take thousands of years to refill. And here's where it gets insane, by the way, because they say that 70% of the world's major water supplies are all in decline. Half of all major lakes have already shrunk since the 90s, and 4 billion people already experience severe water scarcity every single year. Dude, this obviously isn't a warning about the future, because the UN is saying that we are already past the crisis, and for some of the systems there's no going back. They are basically coming out and telling us that Earth might be running out of water, and GTA 6 still isn't even out.
He beat and unalived a 1-year-old baby and got no jail time. Christian Monez Rubino sometimes took care of his girlfriend's son, 1-year-old Kai Tereso. During this time, Christian would constantly and horrifically abuse Kai. This abuse went on for months, and Kai's mother, Tatiana Tereso, would witness the abuse and continue dating her boyfriend and not do anything to help her own baby. Christian would get frustrated with Kai because Kai wasn't walking fast enough. So, Christian would slam Kai down on the floor, feet first, which ended up fracturing both of Kai's legs. Apparently, Tatiana wanted to take Kai to the hospital, but Christian convinced her not to go, so she didn't. After months of abuse, Kai suffered from severe seizures and had to be hospitalized. All the violent shaking and blunt force trauma to the head that Kai had endured from Christian caused brain bleeding. Kai passed away from Christian's abuse, and Tatiana turning a blind eye to the abuse and not doing anything to save her baby. Christian received 0 prison time for unaliving baby Kai. He only got 5 years of probation, so he's out in the world living his life right now. In my opinion, Christian and Tatiana should both be in prison forever. What do you guys think about this case?
The Epstein files just got dropped again, and it got so much worse. 3.5 million pages just got released, including 2,000 videos and 200,000 photos. And some of the stuff Trump allegedly did in these files were so insane. Even traders on Polymarket are predicting a 16% chance that Donald Trump will be out as president by the end of this year, but after these files getting dropped, it might be even higher. And what's crazy is that only half of these files have been released. So what other crazy information do you guys think they are hiding from us?
Remember how we all thought it was weird that UVU was renovating the courtyard where Charlie Kirk was assassinated only a few days after the fact? Then how a UVU official addressed this, saying that it wasn't an attempt to cover up anything, that the paving work was already on the calendar as part of a planned campus renovation. Well, it turns out that UVU was reaching out to construction companies on Saturday, September 13th, only 3 days after the assassination. Text messages were obtained by Project Constitution via a grandma request, which allows the public to request access to government records, including state universities. Now, the names are redacted, but it shows that as early as Saturday, September 13th, they were looking to paver the whole area, and that the guys in the construction company were en route to do that. And this one's weird. Maybe that would be good. My guys are well trained in keeping quiet. Why do they need to be quiet? The exchange goes on to say that the university wants to get rid of all of the sod. The contractor asking if there's anybody on site that they should coordinate with, and someone responding, just get her done, thank you. Usually a renovation like this would have to go through approvals and funding, not to mention it was a crime scene. Plus, if this was previously planned, would you need to be asking all of these questions, including making design decisions? So you have to wonder, how did they get this approval? And who gave it to them, and why? As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
Can we talk about this theory going around about Selena Gomez and Gina Davis? Just listen.
To my life, I feel extremely lucky.
I started it because I found out when I had kids that kids' entertainment stuff made specifically for them, like even.
So many people are pointing out that Selena Gomez has changed so much since a very serious surgery she had. That she doesn't sound the same, she doesn't look the same. And when the people online started to dig deeper into this theory, they realized she looks and sounds a lot like Gina Davis. Now, this does bring up the conspiracy theory of celebrity clones. Another big thing that people are pointing out about this is Selena Gomez is 5'5", and Benny Blanco is 5'9", but here, they're around the same height. But Gina Davis is 6 foot even. And that would be more of the height that Selena is in this picture. And not just that, they point out that Justin Bieber and Benny are the same height, yet Selena was shorter than Justin, and she's taller than Benny, which makes no sense. Not to mention the videos that Justin Bieber released. But are these the same?
Jeffrey Epstein had special access to Disney. Well, that's at least what new records found in the Epstein files say. So here's the email thread. It's between Lawrence Krauss and Jeffrey Epstein. You can verify this for yourself if you'd like to. Basically, in December of 2013, Lawrence is writing to Epstein about, I believe this is a wedding they're talking about. And then in the second half of this message, he says, since I can't get extra Disney tickets sent here for your guest, too late for that, we can get it when we're there, blah, blah, blah. But Epstein responds, and this is the controversial part, I have special access, don't worry. Now, what does that mean? Did Epstein actually have special access to one of the Disney properties? I'm assuming Disney World in Florida. Well, if you scan through the emails like I did, there are over 1,000 mentions of Disney in the files. A lot of those are duplicate documents, obviously. But you can see here, December 2013, I believe this is that trip that they're talking about. Epstein went to Disney. Then there's a message from 2018 between Leslie Groff, Epstein's assistant, and somebody else, where they're talking about setting up a Disney trip. You've got another document from October 2013 talking about a Disney trip. You've got this email, once again, between Leslie Groff, Epstein's assistant, and somebody else who isn't named, talking about a new restaurant opening up at Disney World. And there's even a simple message, April 2018, call Disney. Now, what that means, I don't know, but it is strange, right? Now, there are multiple photos of Jeffrey Epstein at Disney World. I was talking about this a few months ago when I found these images myself in the files. And to me, this was a shock. And I mean, this is incredibly shocking. If Jeffrey Epstein actually had some sort of special access to a property like Disney World that is essentially engineered for children, who knows what that really means. But once again, that's why we need more clarity. We need more answers. We need to be more angry, and we need to demand investigations.
Everybody knows that Reddit can be a complete cesspool, so let's go over some of the worst Reddit communities to ever exist. First up, we have r/watchpeopledie. This was a subreddit dedicated to sharing real videos of human deaths. People would post things like workplace accidents, murders, shootings, etc. The community actually got quarantined and was eventually banned in 2019 because people decided they wanted to post and make fun of the Christchurch mosque shootings in New Zealand. If you don't know, this was a violent extremist attack on a mosque in New Zealand, and it violated the site rules against glorifying violence. Reddit doesn't actually list who created the subreddit. It kind of emerged organically before the content policies kind of tightened up. But it was very disturbing because members would post and upvote very violent, graphic death videos, all for shock value.
Just because you're a ghost doesn't mean you can't party. And this photo proves it. A woman was at Hudson's on Bourbon Street in Louisiana. She took a photo for Snapchat, and in the photo, she captured a ghost at the bar. I think this picture is really cool too, because a lot of times when you capture ghosts in photos, they're not like modern time ghosts. And this one clearly is. She's wearing some high heel boots, some skinny jeans, and she's ready to live her best afterlife. Now, I know a lot of people question what happens in the afterlife. I'm not sure the history on Hudson's or if anybody has passed away in this area. So, I mean, it may very well be a spirit trapped in this property. But wouldn't it be cool to think that you could go out and do what you want in your own little realm? And this is obviously a pair of boots and skinny jeans. But what kind of creeps me out is that almost looks like a dog's face, but maybe it's just pareidolia. What do you guys think about this photo? Because New Orleans is definitely the spot to capture some pretty cool ghost photos. And it would not surprise me at all if the New Orleans ghost liked to bar hop. As always, don't forget to like and follow for more. Good night.
You know there was an Epstein Island before Epstein Island? Wait, what? wait. Apparently, this guy named Francis Sheldon in Michigan, he bought an island called North Fox Island, and he was a millionaire. He bought the island out, and he made an airstrip so he can fly out and fly in kids to this island.
Oh my god.
He made a boy camp where you come in, underprivileged kids, and then you learn about nature. There was parents that were getting complaints about these staff members that would literally say that, oh, go into the cabin and take all your clothes off, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, this is literally what Jeffrey Epstein was doing.
Yeah.
But this guy, he actually got away with it because once he knew that people were going to come and get him, he literally took a flight out to another country, started a whole new life there, and got rid of all the evidence before they could actually like do a full search on it.
What is up with these rich people and their islands? Like, they just get bored of doing whatever they're doing. They just, completed everything in life, and now their next step is to do what they're doing in these islands. What do you guys think? How is he saying he didn't get caught even though he's on a newspaper being shown in that video and all those details are being revealed? So he did get caught. And how do we know about this? The rich people in their islands. Come on.
The Epstein files mentioned Syracuse University nearly 65 times. But here's what really happened. When that number started going around, it was a bit concerning because 65 times sounds huge. If you skim the findings, it may just seem like Epstein was just donating to SU. But with the evidence we have now, we know that's not what happened. Between 2009 and 2012, Jeffrey Epstein wrote at least 4 or 5 checks to Syracuse University, totaling about $106,000. But what were those payments for? Well, student journalists at the Daily Orange found that there was no evidence supporting any deeper financial relationship between Epstein and the university, other than him simply sponsoring the tuition for his pilot's daughter. At the time, there was no indication of SU officials knowing who was behind the payments. Follow for more Syracuse stories.
So whether you like it or not, Stephen Hawking is in the Epstein files at this point. You can search the EFTA number down there if you'd like to verify this info. But I've always wondered why Stephen would hang out with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we know that Epstein liked to surround himself with intellectuals and scientists, and that Epstein also funded a lot of research and scientific initiatives. But I don't know, it's always disappointing for me to know that people like Hawking continued to hang out with Epstein even after they found out he was a pedophile. Because if you actually do some independent research of your own, you will see that Stephen Hawking's name appears in the Epstein Files database 231 times. And that's just in the released files. Now, Stephen isn't accused of any wrongdoing in any of these files, and I want to make that clear. However, it should be stated that Stephen was allegedly keeping in contact with Epstein and/or visiting Epstein years after Epstein's criminal conviction for having sex with minors and the accusations of sex trafficking of children. And that's a question that I, along with many others, still have to this day. Why did so many powerful, influential figures, both in America and across the planet, still hang out with Epstein even though they knew that he was convicted of raping minors and accused of sex trafficking minors and children? I don't know, but this photo has no explanation still. I don't know if this was taken on the island. I don't know if this was a photo sent to Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know what this photo is. I mean, for all we know, because of the redactions, these could be 2 victims, but we just don't know. And that, once again, let me remind you, was on purpose because the DOJ and FBI released all of these files and pictures without any corroborating information or detail. But it's definitely disappointing for me to see him in here.
This video where I snuck on Jeffrey Epstein's island, a random guy walked in my house all the way up to the 3rd floor with a luggage and a backpack and asked if Ryan is staying here. I looked at him, I was like, no. And he was like, oh shit, my bad. He seemed to be pretty chill, but now that I'm thinking of all of this stuff is happening to me, the black SUVs outside. That guy has the full layout of my house now. I don't know who that guy was. I should have had cameras at the time. Also, not to mention, last night, a DoorDash driver walked inside my house. That has never happened. This is real stuff happening in real time. Follow to stay updated.
Yeah, Nico, they got you, my boy. You are 100% compromised. So you're telling me a random DoorDash driver walked into your house, number one. You're telling me a random dude entered your house asking for a random guy named Ryan, and the black SUVs are still watching you after you went to the island? Dude, you're compromised. I'd pack your bags.
Did Jeffrey Epstein and his friends consume human meat? Did they eat babies? Well, I have some shocking new things to show you. First of all is this email exchange sent in July of 2009. I do not know who this was sent to and who Jeffrey was talking to, but as you can see, somebody at the bottom writes Jeffrey and says, LOL, I don't know if cream cheese and baby are on the same level. And then they talk about a schedule and a fuel explosion. I don't know what that even means. But yeah, disturbing. I don't know if cream cheese and baby are on the same level. I mean, babies are babies. Cream cheese is a food that you eat, obviously. And then above that, Epstein writes back, there are millions of babies, very little good vegetable cream cheese. So you can make of that what you will, but to me it really seems like they're discussing eating babies. I mean, I don't really know what to make of that. There's also a lot of what seems to be coded speak in the Epstein files dealing with muffins. For example, here's one email found in the files that says, hey Lynn, can you please make sure I have some muffin batter and baked muffins to take with us tomorrow to the ranch? Thanks. Then here's another email. T passed on your rude Easter creature movie. Thought you might like Nutty. I doubt he is up to your normal muffin standard. Hope to see you soon. Whatever that means. Here's another one you can pause to read if you'd like. The other thing he would like to change is the size of his muffins. Could you please bake the muffins for Mr. Epstein, make them smaller in size? Your muffin proportions are good. However, they should have no brown sugar on the top. Then again, woohoo, I'm so happy for you. Gobble down a muffin, take a nice long shower, and crawl into bed. Just such a strange email. And this one's pretty bizarre. Hi Sonam, Jeffrey might come back to New York, June, yada yada. I think we should get the muffin ingredients on the airplane this Friday, June 8th, just in case. Do any of the ingredients expire quickly or will all be okay until June 20th? Then in response, there's nothing that will expire quickly and all the ingredients will be ready by tomorrow and will get in airplane this Friday. Then super, thank you. So what the hell kind of muffin are they talking about here? What kind of muffin do you have to fly in ingredients for from God knows where? What type of ingredients get into an airplane? What's up with all of the speak of muffin? There's tons of mentions of pizza, tons of mentions of muffins in these emails. And to me and many others online, this looks to be code speak. Obviously, I don't think they're talking about actual muffin ingredients here, unless there's some super bougie, incredibly sensitive muffin that only the super elite uber rich know about and eat on a regular basis. And yeah, it goes back to messages like this: millions of babies, very little good vegetable cream cheese. And it really makes you wonder what all these people were eating when they were hanging out with Epstein and his gang of ghouls.
Quick pause real fast. If you're into creepy TikToks in dark rabbit holes, drop a like and comment which video has been unsettling so far. Alright, that was it. Let's get back to it.
Much more than that. We're talking about complete personality changes. She not only looks nothing like herself, she sounds nothing like herself, she acts nothing like herself, she walks nothing like herself. Well, do you guys remember during the premiere of Wicked, the Kardashians threw a sleepover party for Ariana Grande and Cynthia, where yes, they actually spent the night. Well, it just so happened during a tour, Kris Jenner accidentally leaked a $5 million Basquiat painting. And I have done many videos mentioning where Kim purchased the painting, which is a whole other rabbit hole. And here's the said Basquiat painting that Kim purchased for $5 million. And yes, even though Basquiat's artwork was sometimes chaotic and contradicting, it was full of Haitian voodoo symbolism, and his favorite deity to channel was Elise Dantor. Well, Elise Dantor goes by many names. She could also go by Urzuli or Black Madonna, where it just so happens that in her favorite offering, she likes the color light pink. She likes sweet things and sweet pastries, pink roses, perfume, feminine jewelry, beauty, love. No one finds that even a little bit interesting? Okay, if you say so. Now, you don't think Kim Kardashian and her little sis were messing around with things they shouldn't have, do you? No, probably not. Just that one time where Kim Kardashian wanted to channel Marilyn Monroe, but I guess it's a good thing that she didn't get trapped like that.
Marilyn's here. So. You can clone her. That's awesome. Oh my god, I'm literally going to do some crazy voodoo shit that I've...
If you love Britney Spears in any way, shape, or form, you need to watch this video. I'm going to prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is not Britney Spears on her Instagram. Have you ever wondered why Britney Spears is always in front of a box fan? Like, where is she that it's so hot, or why is she always sweating that she needs a box fan? Let me tell you why. Here's a random video of hers from 1999.
I know. Just to be able to be nominated is really, amazing.
Here's another one from 1999.
You leave your parents over here and just went there?
No, actually, I tried out.
The reason that a lot of her posts have a box fan behind her is so that they can use old audio clips from early 1999, 1998, 2000, where the audio was horrible. Let me play for you a series of them so I can prove to you every soundbite you hear from Britney Spears has this fan in it.
And I hope you guys like it. It's coming soon.
I started off in bread and making bread.
I worked my ass off for this book. I had a lot of therapy to get this book done, so you guys better like it.
Even with Jaden.
Look at my dress.
That is a very pretty dress.
I decided to do new content for my family. It's a little more special.
Anybody ready to believe me yet?
You think bathrooms are safe because they're small and familiar. That's the mistake. Here's the warning people ignore. If you're home alone and you hear the shower curtain move when no water is running, don't pull it back. Most people do. They want to confirm nothing's there. People who didn't touch it noticed the same thing. The room felt humid, even though the mirror was clear. Humidity without steam means breath. Rule 1. If the bathroom fan turns on by itself, don't turn it off. That sound isn't for airflow, it's for cover. Here's where it changes. If the toilet lid is down and you know you left it up, don't lift it. Closed lids block reflections. Some people notice a light flicker once. Not off, not on, just enough to change shadows. Rule 2. If the lock clicks but the handle doesn't move, don't test it. Testing tells them how fast you react. People who stay still said the silence felt crowded, like the room was occupied, but nothing wanted to be seen yet. Rule 3. If you feel watched from behind while facing the mirror, don't turn around. Mirrors show what stands still. The warning ends like this. If you leave the bathroom and the door swings shut slowly behind you, don't assume it's air pressure, because whoever learned your routine in that room already knows how long you take, where you stand, and how long you look at your own reflection instead of what might be standing just out of it.
Agent Walter White has been found, but instead of meth, this guy makes virus. His name is Jabezu, and the FBI just found a full-on illegal biolab after raiding his garage in Las Vegas. Inside, they found thousands of vials and containers, some being HIV, malaria, and Ebola. It's even gone to the point where traders on Polymarket are predicting a 21% chance that another variation of COVID happens before 2027. And apparently during the 2020 pandemic, Zoo was making fake test kits and selling them in the US, making over $1.7 million in the scheme. Anyways, let me know in the comments if you think we're making it out of 2026 alive.
Let's talk about one of the most terrifying urban legend and cursed images ever, Tamino's Hell. The urban legend itself comes from Japan, by an author named Yaso, who at one point was known for writing children's books, who ended up writing this cursed poem after experiencing extreme loss in his own personal life, comprised of his father and his sister, unfortunately passing. So in theory, this poem of it being haunted means that as he wrote this poem, he put so much grief and emphasis into feeling loss, that that's exactly what you end up feeling when you read this poem out loud. And of course, I'm not gonna read the poem, because I don't need no bad luck. But many users online, after reading the poem aloud, ended up passing away. Some in car accidents, others from random illnesses, and others saying after reading the poem aloud felt a strange presence in the same room as they were that isn't there. And shortly after posting about these weird experiences, their accounts went silent, never to post again. Rumors date back before this even hit the internet that this urban legend is a thing. There was even a filmmaker who ended up reading the poem aloud and using the poem in one of his movies, to then a few weeks after the movie came out, passing away. A lot of people online are speculating that this has to do something with reading the poem aloud. Others really have no idea. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna read the poem aloud, nor am I gonna show it on screen, because I just don't think it's worth it. But I guess the biggest question is, do you guys think this poem could actually be cursed? And have you heard of it before? And don't forget to like and follow for more, and thank you guys so much for 2 million followers.
Have you ever seen a picture that just makes your stomach drop? The shadow doll found inside the Warrens Museum was created for the sole purpose to curse someone. The origin of the shadow doll goes that a couple found it inside an antique shop, and when they brought it home, they started to notice something was very wrong with it. They would wake up in the middle of the night with mysterious scratches and bruises all over their body. The closer they looked at the doll, the more they realized that the doll was made with animal bones, black crow feathers, and a real human tooth.
Watch this. A video shows us a couple sleeping when paranormal activity happens in their room. The wife wakes up, but the husband...
What the fuck? What the fuck, baby? Wake up, wake up, wake up. Come to the door. Wake up, wake up!
Well, I remember a theory from a long time ago about this particular video. It was that the husband passed away in his sleep and it was his spirit in the room who was trying to convey to his wife that I'm dead. Please call someone. Not sure how true this theory is.
Erica Kirk was having an affair, which is why Charlie Cook took her out of the will. So allegedly, the story is that Erica Kirk was having an affair. Charlie hired a private investigator to kind of follow her and see what was going on. And then he took her out of the will. So Turning Point USA, all of the merch, none of that goes to her at all. It just goes to their 2 children. And boy, did they make a lot of money on that merch too. And mind you, he did this before he was assassinated. So I don't know, man. Some people are saying he found out kind of who Erica Kirk was, like who she really is, and that's why everything went downhill. Which is insane, because if you look at photos of them, you're like, that is the perfect marriage. That's the perfect life. They have 2 healthy, beautiful children. I mean, all their family photos look like this. So Erica supposedly starts screaming at the lawyers when she finds out that she was left with no money. But mind you, she was mad that Candace Owens allegedly was making hundreds of thousands of dollars on the assassination and everything going on, telling her side of the story, etc. But mind you, Erica Kirk said, and it was recorded, that this assassination was the event of a century. But the weird part, other than that statement itself, that was weird. The other weird part is she said, we could pull off the event of a century. That's weird. What do you mean we could pull it off? What do you mean?
The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century.
Then talking about merch sales, like merchandise, this is what she said.
We had over 275,000 people. I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales.
What? I know he left his will to his children, but I think he should have just given some to Candace Owens. I think that would have been funny.
Let's just start off by saying, if this is true, this is a very bold statement. The conspiracy of Erica having something to do with the unaliving of Charlie is very dark, but there has to be something more to it. Unfortunately, since there is audio recordings of Erica saying what she said, it does raise the question, what more is there that we do not know? What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below.
Creepy Row Photos That Keep Me Up at Night Part 76. This photo is posted to Reddit with the caption, "Over the weekend, I took photos of my kids playing. On one photo, I noticed this figure. What could it be? I took multiple photos afterwards, but didn't see anything similar. I promptly called the kids back, but I really am confused and kind of freaked out now. I need an explanation. Follow for more Creepy Row Photos."
There's this video of this rabbi from a couple decades ago, and he was bragging about how they grind up children and they put them in the McDonald's meat.
I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country, and we drain their blood and we mix it with a Passover bread, and then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own, and we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets, and the people, they eat it for breakfast, they eat their children for lunch. Us Jews, you know, we gotta do what we do.
It makes a lot of sense because McDonald's, the amount of burgers that they serve, there's not even that many cows in the world for them to serve that. And there have been studies showing that there is human DNA and even like rat DNA in a lot of these McDonald's burgers.
Wow.
But what these elite people are doing is they're taking children, because hundreds of thousands of kids go missing every year in America, and you can't bury hundreds of thousands of kids in cemeteries every year. So what they do is they use this fast food to dispose of them, and we are like the garbage disposal for these trafficked children. And you don't even feel good after eating it because your body is rejecting it, because we weren't made to eat ground up children.
This is what millions call game day fuel. Warm, soft, comforting, and packed with things you were never meant to eat.
This dough doesn't just rise. It's chemically conditioned to be frozen, shipped, stretched, and baked without falling apart.
That smooth cheese pull isn't freshness. It's emulsifiers and anti-caking agents forcing fats and proteins to stay glued together. This meat doesn't rot like real food. Preservatives slow bacteria while grease leaks out and soaks into the crust. You don't care though, right? That garlic butter cup isn't butter. It's flavored oil, stabilizers, and synthetic butter notes made to taste rich. pretty gross.
Every ingredient here is built for one thing: speed, shelf life, sameness. Your body isn't part of the plan, it's the target.
And this is just the warm-up pizza. Tomorrow, America's most delivered pizza shows up fast and just as engineered.
This is the reason why you shouldn't have mirrors right in front of you when you're sleeping. Look at this couple sleeping, but look what their camera captured. This very strange lady in the mirror. What do you think happened here?
Erica sees a note that Charlie wrote that she's never seen before, and her reaction is crazy. I'm starting to think that Charlie was kind of onto her a little bit. It's kind of giving, I love my family, but not my wife.
There are so many treasures in here. Like, for instance, like this.
Never seen it before.
He wrote on everything. He has papers everywhere. This says, it's the priorities. It says family, children, legacy, kids number one.
Look at her face.
Versus careerism, consumerism, and loneliness. That's interesting. I don't know. I could spend hours.
Charlie was super Christian, so it's really interesting that he doesn't mention wife, because in the Bible, wife is number one, but he's saying children are number one. And Erica's reaction was just shocked. She looked shocked, but she was trying to probably hide it. Yes, there was family in there, but family could be his parents, his grandparents, definitely his children, because he put children in there twice. He put legacy, and he just didn't put Erica's name. He didn't say wife, Erica, nothing. And still, what I find so interesting is Charlie said that Nicki Minaj and Cardi B are not great role models for young women, and Erica had Nicki Minaj. They're laughing. She's laughing that Nicki is saying the assassin JD. I don't know why, but I just feel like he was on to Erica. I don't know. That's just my theory.
Guys, I'm trying to get some work done here, and I look out my window, and this is special. There's a van aiming directly into my apartment. If I go missing, you know who it was.
They just want you to know. At this point, they don't really care. They want to show you.
How about that?
It will be the centerpiece of the city. Beyonce is becoming the most unfollowed person of 2026 because of Jay-Z. So recently, 3 million e-files dropped. And in those files, we have the usual suspects that we already knew were in there. But recently, it was discovered that Jay-Z is also in there. Now, Beyonce fans were not happy when they heard this at all, and they decided to lash out against their queen. Beyonce is always letting that man bring her down, I swear. Now, they're doing this by mass unfollowing Beyonce on IG. She used to be at 310 mil. She's currently at 308. And her numbers on her socials are all in the red, negative.
When was the last time you saw the Olsen twins? Mary Kate and Ashley? Why do I ask? Because they're now featured in a Louis Vuitton ad, and they are unrecognizable, leaving their fans asking the question, what happened to the Olsen twins? If you haven't seen the ad, take a look at this. That is the Olsen twins featured in a Louis Vuitton ad. Does that look like the Olsen twins to you? Here are a few more images from the Louis Vuitton Staying Alive ad. Okay, I would have not thought that this was the Olsen twins, Mary Kate and Ashley, if I didn't see their names listed on the ad. Take a look below. So the question once again needs to be asked. Has Hollywood claimed more celebrities? These are the Olsen twins that we're all accustomed to seeing. So who are these Olsen twins in this Louis Vuitton ad? So I guess my question to you is, has Hollywood claimed more celebrities? Let me know your thoughts in the comments as to what you think is going on with the Olsen twins. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. When was the last time you saw Jim Carrey? Why do I ask? Because Jim Carrey was at a recent appearance with his co-stars from the movie Grinch. And he had fans asking the question, has Hollywood claimed another celebrity? If you haven't seen the images, take a look at this. Who is that? Is that Jim Carrey? Is that the Jim Carrey that we all recognize from movies and TV shows? This is the Jim Carrey that we're all used to seeing. So the question needs to be asked, has Hollywood claimed another celebrity? Fans were quick to react to the way he looked on stage. Does he look the same to you? I understand that people can age and people can change, but a lot of these Hollywood celebrities just don't look the same at all. So once again, it begs the question, has Hollywood claimed another celebrity? This is a photo of Jim Carrey not too long ago. So who is this Jim Carrey? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Kris Jenner looks beautiful in new photos celebrating her 70th birthday. Why does she look exactly like Kim Kardashian? No, I know she's the mother. Before you type that shit, I know she's the mother. Don't try that shit. But just take a look. Is this a 70-year-old woman? But wait, before you even answer that, take a look at this. This was in 2007. This is in 2025. They really just might be drinking baby blood. Those conspiracy theories about Hollywood just might be true. Because how are you reverse aging? How did you go from looking like this to looking like that? You don't find that suspicious?
The most evil, demonic brands in America today, it's crumble cookie. Gasoline is probably cleaner than a crumble cookie. The owner is making millions of dollars off this product and really poisoning the American people.
And she's not wrong. Crumble isn't just selling cookies. They go viral on social media, market to kids, load their products with sugar and toxic ingredients, and then disguise them as treats. One cookie can top 700 calories and over 87 grams of sugar. For adults, that's already over 3 times the daily recommended limit. And for kids, the American Heart Association says they should have no more than 25 grams a day. So one crumble cookie is giving them more than 3 days worth of sugar in just a few bites. So what's inside these processed treats? Bleach and processed flours, processed sugars, seed oils, preservatives and artificial flavors, and food dyes you wouldn't even want in your kids' finger paints. Oh, and this is the same brand that teamed up with the Kardashians, glamorizing that pink box full of toxins and calling it trendy. Bottom line, this is not dessert. This is a chemical cocktail disguised as a cookie, made to fatten their profits and destroy your health. So think twice next time.
Why have these Hollywood actresses suddenly aged 20 years? Recently, Miley Cyrus's Gucci ad has sparked heated discussions. Her sunken cheeks and disappearing eyebrows make her look like she's 20 years older. She looks absolutely terrible. Miley was always a shining star in Hollywood, but now the sparkle in her eyes is gone, replaced by a weary, aging look. The same transformation has happened to Jenna Ortega. She was once the young actress everyone admired, but now, after losing weight, her cheeks have sunken in. Her bleached eyebrows and hollow eyes give off a strange, exhausted vibe. What has happened to her? She's only 23, but she looks at least 20 years older than Emma sitting next to her. It's as if she's her mother. How absurd. And then there's Ariana Grande. Her recent pictures of being unnaturally skinny have shocked everyone. Her prominent collarbones and gaunt face make people worry if she has enough energy left to sing and perform. She seems to have lost the delicate, cute charm she once had. Why have they all embraced such hollowed out faces? In reality, this look is truly unattractive. Do you like this style?
Bieber music video. Where Are You Now? I'm going to slow it down to show you frame for frame. Now, it's created by a lot of Justin Bieber's fans, a lot of artwork from fans, but I'd argue that some of them were created by Justin Bieber to strategically slip them in there to send a message. So this one is really disturbing. It's Justin Bieber with pizza wings, a pizza above his head. Far upper right corner, you see a face smelling him, and his eyes are appearing kind of like bloodshot and crying with some devil horns. And if you don't know, in the Epstein files, pizza is used to reference children. Kill the Poor, Love the Devil Back, $5 to look at it. This one says False God. Here's another devil one with his mouth silenced. This one says Put Drugs in Your Butt, and it has like a little sinister face on the side, and he has a necklace with ice cream on it, a little tag. Ice cream literally means male. Yeah. Here's one that looks like he's giving some. Here's him with his head blown. If you're reading this, then it's already too late. Here's another one with the Illuminati symbol that says We Made It. Hollywood with cavities and death. This one is with the devil saying the greatest trick I've ever did. Bush did 9/11. Here's one, two-way street, safety or fame, with a bunch of dead people, his eyes bleeding, his face being completely silenced. Illuminati once again. Jesus saves. Help, Ronald McDonald is killing our kids. Upside down crosses, more Illuminati. Stop worshiping me.
This may be way more worser than we originally thought. It seems like people are filming other people in grocery stores because they're acting like AI robots. Like, It does not seem like these people are real. It doesn't even seem like they're all there. Does the government want us to think that there's more people than there actually?
Why are private companies allowed to photograph your child every year at school? They come into schools and collect high-resolution photos of millions of kids, and those images aren't just printed. They're stored digitally and controlled by third-party companies, not schools. And in an age of facial recognition and AI, massive photo databases aren't harmless. They're used for identity matching and long-term recognition. When the same child is photographed year after year, they become easier to track over time. Parents are told it's normal, but they're rarely told who controls the data or how it's used. Send this to a parent to make them aware.
The elite really don't want you to own anything.
Remember when we used to own things? Your music lived in your CD case, your photos were printed, your car, your movies, your stuff are yours.
Media.
Now, you don't own. You access, you subscribe, stream, rent. Even your creativity runs on borrowed platforms. They call it the convenience era. But let's be real. It's the control era, because when you don't own something, you don't make the rules. Miss a payment, it's gone. Change the terms, too bad. Your tools freeze, your files vanish, your account resets. You think you're the user? No, you're the product. And they're selling you back to yourself. That's why in business, in brand, in life, ownership matters. Own your email list, own your systems, own your ideas, because if you don't, someone else will.
Knows a lot, right? He even said that, hey, if the American people knew what they were eating in their fast food, they would completely storm the FDA, every powers that be. Wow. Because he says we're actually eating people. So he says that look into the fast food because there's not enough cows to go around, right? And he discloses a lot of things about America.
I think Mr. Beast is an industry plant and a fraud. He recently partnered with the Rockefeller Foundation to tackle issues like poverty and climate change in Africa. Okay, but why Africa? If you care so much, why not tackle the problems in your own country? So first, let's look at Raj Shah, the frontman of the Rockefeller Foundation, who used to be the frontman of USAID under the Obama administration. And USAID was exposed countless times for funneling money with zero accountability of how US tax dollars are being spent. Now let's not forget that the Rockefeller Foundation created the lockstep document in 2010 telling us how they will use a pandemic to tighten the screws around our necks and increase surveillance on every citizen. Now on the other hand, Mr. Beast has a huge influence on children and has a history of siding with everything that the elites want. Now I can't speculate if the goal is to groom children to his content or funnel money in dark places through his foundation, but when you take all of that into account and you're throwing up the devil horns to celebrate a Rockefeller partnership, it doesn't make me want to recommend his channel to anyone.
How old were you when you realized these things? Like that being a pancake smothered in peanut butter. How old were you when you found out that the creator of Subway Surfers made the game in memory of his son who died while skating in the train tracks? I was today fucking years old. I'm depressed. Goofy is actually a cow and not a dog. Disney's always trying to stir up some shit to be the center of attention, and they always just end up being the drama. So I don't buy this. He's a dog. I was today years old when I discovered the green and brown M&Ms are lesbians. Good for them because they're too fucking hot for those men. The little number on the back of products indicates how many months the product is good for once open. I've never seen that little number, so that means I never knew that. If you click and hold the spacebar, you can move the cursor instead of trying to drag the cursor itself with your fat thumb. My thumb is not fat, it is thick. The hole on the pot is made for holding your messy cooking spoons. Never worked.
Anybody else notice that Ellen's set looks a lot like Epstein Island?
Here's the set of the Ellen show. Does that look familiar? The blue and the white?
You've seen it before.
The kind of the greenery and the white seats and the color scheme. Does it look familiar? Because it looks familiar to me. Yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Every single star has been on the Ellen show. And just so out of nowhere, Ellen's looking very, very old, huh? She's not looking too good. Looks like when you stop drinking that red juice, you start to die on the outside a little bit, huh?
Stay weird.
She just discovered an unsettling truth before the latest snowstorm in New York, because while driving to work, she noticed something in the sky that explained everything.
This is pure evil! This massive snowstorm that we're supposed to get. Look at the skies before the snowstorm.
This is your daily reminder that everything is fake, our government hates us, and all of these events are orchestrated.
What people don't understand is like the Epstein files is just the tip of the iceberg. This stuff goes way back. For those who may have remembered during the 2016 election when it was Trump and Hillary had deleted like 30,000 100,000 emails in one night. Everybody thought that was a little suspect, but that's because she had her own Epstein files. And WikiLeaks actually dropped a lot of these files. And I remember reading some of the WikiLeaks files. It said that Hillary and John Podesta, who was the chairman for Barack Obama, they were emailing about how they were going to sacrifice a chicken to Molech. But chicken is code word for child. There was one case that I heard about Hillary Clinton. It was about a tape that the NYPD was looking at. 9 out of 12 police officers that were looking at the tape all committed coincidentally suicide right after, which I believe they were assassinated. Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin, they were in the forest in Israel and they tied a little girl to a tree. They cut out her stomach in a zigzag formation. They pulled out this little girl's intestines. They were naked while doing so and covered their body with her blood. People have to understand there are sick people that are governing this world.
This woman was being followed by a shadow person and can prove it.
I was just walking out of my apartment. And look.
If you look behind the car, you can see a shadow person. That is a humanoid figure behind that car.
It's following me.
Stay weird, y'all.
She remembered her daughter's birthday way before
my
she had a daughter. There's this mom that had a diary and she wrote every single day what happened that day.
Yeah.
In one of the passages that she wrote, today feels weird because it feels like I'm remembering someone's birthday, but I don't know who. So she wrote that in her diary on February 28th. Now, she found this diary again, like when she's way, way, way older. She wrote this long, long time ago. That day ended up becoming the day she gave birth to her daughter.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's called something. Feeling?
Prophetic
Feeling? Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Today at school was fun. I was in such a good mood. Today is somebody's birthday, but I can't remember whose. And I got the biggest chills because on February 28th, 2001, I gave birth to my first child, my baby girl, Molly.
Dude, do you remember that radioactive shrimp recall that we literally just had a couple months ago? Because it just got expanded and it's way bigger today. This is not a rerun of what happened before. This recall just got expanded again. There's now frozen shrimp that's sold across 17 different states that is right now being pulled from grocery stores because it may contain radioactive contamination. And by the way, we're not just talking about one small batch because tens of thousands of bags that are sold under major grocery store brands are now affected. This shrimp is being sold at stores that people shop at every single week, and officials are telling anyone who bought it to not eat it under any circumstances. The reason is because after they tested the shrimp, it was flagged with cesium-137, which is a radioactive isotope that obviously does not belong in food. Regulators are saying that there are no illnesses that have been reported yet, but this is a serious precaution because the long-term exposure is the real concern of being in contact with something that's radioactive. Officials are now urging people to check their freezers immediately, look at brand names, dates, and return it or throw it out. How did this get into grocery stores once again, and why are we finding more of it now? It's Christmas Eve.
This shit gotta be a coincidence. The NFL was practicing their Super Bowl fireworks for the Super Bowl this Sunday. The fireworks is red and blue. Okay, so what I got to say about that is, what if this shit scripted? Why they practicing red and blue? Y'all think the Patriots finna win? I personally got the Patriots, I ain't gonna lie. Who y'all got on game? We gonna come back to this video tomorrow after the Super Bowl and see who won. And if you seen this after the Super Bowl, y'all let me know. Y'all think this shit was scripted? Cause they already said it before the Super Bowl, during the practice, that what?
You know what? They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
What?
The memory erasure. They erase my memories. It's a little foggy.
They were playing the Ouija board and something creepy happened. These friends were experiencing strange stuff in the basement when suddenly one of the girls that was recording was pulled by something. Could this be something evil?
Is this Jeffrey Epstein? No? How do you know that? What's the percentage chance that it's Jeffrey Epstein? Okay, so it's not 0. Remove his beard. Cannot edit public figures' images. Which public figure is this? Dude, bro.
You heard the conspiracy theory that Wayfair is trafficking humans?
What? No.
This isn't proven, right? So Wayfair has these weirdly priced items on there. Like there was a safe, a little like small safe, right? And it's named after a person that went missing in Chicago.
What?
So the safe is named like Amelia, right? And it's listed for $150,000. Or a chair named Brooke that's listed for $200,000.
That's crazy.
It's a thing that people have seen on Wayfair for years, but it's just been ignored. No one has done anything about it. I don't know if anyone has bought these items to see what comes in the mail, but it's so weird because it's so common. It happens all the time.
For real?
Yeah, so there have been hundreds of listings like this, and they usually go up right after somebody turns up missing and their family's crying for them and pleading for them to come home. Yeah, it is honestly one of the weirdest things I have ever seen.
There's this crazy rumor going on that apparently Jeffrey Epstein is still alive and he got leaked because of Fortnite. In the Epstein files, there's a receipt from YouTube where his username is littlestjeff1. And there's a Fortnite account with that exact username based in Israel who's been active in the past 24 hours. In addition, you can find on the Epstein files that on May 7th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein apparently bought $25 worth of V-Bucks. But what's weird is he died in August. And even more suspicious, if you search littlestjeff1 and try and find him on Fortnite, he's now gone private.
So Erica Kirk is pregnant. She announced it. Problem is she's 8 weeks pregnant and Charlie Kirk died 10 weeks ago. They may try to do some Immaculate Conception, Virgin Mary stuff, but nah. That's JD Vance's baby. It refers back to an earlier post I did when Nicki Minaj said that JD Vance was an assassin. She was referring to him assassinating that kitty cat that mash up the team. He was I shouldn't laugh. It's a terrible situation. But yeah, that's that dead baby JD.
Well, it's not blonde, it's gray. It's like old lady hair. It's like gray. It's literally like grandma color. Okay. It's literally like granny gray. I need it, and I know a little tiny bit, but what I know I can't say. But you're working with Jessica. I am working. I'm coming.
Has anybody been able to explain this situation yet? Like, how did Ariana Grande go from this to this in just a couple years? And I know a lot of people have been talking about her physical appearance and how her, Cynthia, and Michelle have been looking so frail lately, but I'm telling you, it's